Yo, what up everyone, it's Levi. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the exact process that we have used to scale our lead generation agency 30k a month and how you can use the same process to exactly do so. I'm a friend of simplicity, so I have kept it super simple. You'll see from our process that there's not too much crazy stuff happening. It is something that you can look at and duplicate instantly in their business. Go through this video and start taking small pieces, put them in your agency and get really good results. I guarantee you that. Everything basically starts from market with a lead generation problem. Because we are selling lead generation, we want to sell to a market which has a lead generation problem. And of course, they might not know that it's a lead generation problem. They might think that it's a funding problem or a offer problem or a sales problem, whatever it is. But if we know deep down that it's a lead generation problem and we are able to explain why it's a lead generation problem, that's a market we want to be in. And if you have watched my niche picking, market picking video, you know exactly how to pick a great market. Just summarized, they have a lot of money that they can pay you. They have a pain. It's a growing market and they are easy to target. That's the market that we want to pick for a lead generation offer. Second thing, we want to have a high ticket offer that solves the exact problem the market has. So if the market is struggling with hiring good high level SDRs who are able to perform for them, we of course want to model our offer from that. We help X, Y, and Z markets to get X amount of revenue in Y time without hiring a single SDR more. Whatever. Depends on the market level, market's pains, and you will see this really quickly. One thing that I always want you to remember is that these two things are super dynamic all the time. You might think that you have picked the perfect market. Maybe you close 5 clients from there, but after working with those 5 clients, you start seeing that, okay, the one similarity with all of these clients make them really good clients, or the all similar with all of these clients make them really bad clients. So you need to tweak your market based on the feedback that you see. And the same thing with offers. Let's say you think that you have an amazing offer, you have closed 10 deals with that offer, and then you keep taking sales calls, and then suddenly after taking 20-30 sales calls, you start noticing that, oh shit, I'm actually getting this objection every single time. Or, oh shit, this seems to be a problem for all of the prospects that I'm talking to. Or they wish that it was something like this, or they wish it was more like this. So then you need to tweak your offer based on it. So these things are super dynamic. They are not set in stone. So the first thing that we basically have here is our traffic sources. Because how to make money in business is that you have an offer and then you drive traffic to it. You have something to sell and then you show the thing to as many people who could buy it. So let's say you sell an offer for just funded startups that you help get product market fit with cold outreach. You need to package that into a really clear, compelling offer and then show it to as many well-funded startups as there is, because that's how you're going to make money at the end of the day. A percentage of them are going to buy. Of course, if you have better sales process, a bigger percentage is going to buy, but at the end of the day, you need a good offer and you need traffic to the offer. So we have 3 different traffic sources here. If this is your first time doing this, I would just go with one traffic source and it would be cold email. But if you have been in the game for a little longer and you can manage like more traffic coming in, I would go with these 2. The first thing we have is we have an optimized LinkedIn profile for a market and offer. So you basically have a LinkedIn profile that is basically built like a sales letter. It has clear headlines, clear value propositions, it has case studies, video sales letter, sales arguments. It has your cute picture of your face in it. It's a nice banner photo and it basically is optimized for a situation like, let's say you sell to just funded startups and a founder of a just funded startup visits your profile. It needs to be built so that the founder immediately gets interested in your offer and service, so you're able to move them down the sales process. So you have an optimized LinkedIn profile for market and offer, and 2 things that you do. You write LinkedIn long form content, basically just sharing a lot of value. You connect with different startup founders and then you just write long form content from different topics based on your offer. How to find product market fit with cold outreach, how to generate 15 sales calls each month using cold email, how to get your emails landed in the primary inbox, how to scrape a lead list, how to build a cold email systems, how to automate your emails, how to do follow-ups, how to book meetings. You basically go over everything and just give that value out. So then the dream customers who are seeing these posts, they get nurtured to your post. They see that you're a clear authority. They see that you're an expert. So then when the time comes and they need your solution, you're probably the first guy they're going to message because you're top of mind. They're seeing your expert posts every single day. And a LinkedIn long form content is a topic that I could talk about for ages. So I'm going to for sure make a video about it, separate video. But right now, high level overview, you do LinkedIn long form content, you have an optimized profile for your customers and you get some traffic. And from the long form content, you get inbound leads and those inbound leads go to a discovery call. The second thing you do with LinkedIn, you have LinkedIn outbound campaigns. These are basically you are reaching out to cold prospects, you're sending them a connection request and then you're starting a conversation with them and then you pitch them, give them the idea of maybe we should hop in a call and see if you could solve this problem for you. So 2 things with LinkedIn. Optimize profile and you drive traffic to it with long form content and you also send cold connection requests to sell your solution. And when you get someone interested and they're like, yeah, I want to hear more, you book a call with them. A second traffic source, a lead list from the market. So you basically build and scrape a list of your ideal customers. Then you do cold email campaigns for them. Let's say you have 1,000 startup founders and you send them an email. Yo, hi John, nice to see that you just got your pre-seed funding. My name is Levi, wanted to reach out to you since we help startups just like you generate 10 to 15 sales calls or generate an extra $100,000 in sales in the next 6 months without using paid advertisement. Would it make sense for us to explore this more? And you send messages like these, you have follow-ups there, everything is automated. You're sending hundreds or thousands of emails a day for your ideal customers with your offer. So a lot of your dream clients are seeing your offer. Here is basically like a secondary traffic source. So let's say when you send cold emails or you run LinkedIn campaigns, people are going to visit your landing page. Let's say you send someone an email. Yo, I can help you with this problem. And they think, okay, this is actually super interesting. Let me see what they are on about. And they go to your landing page. And then on your landing page, you should have a headline, you should have a video sales letter, and you should have the ability to book a discovery call with you. So a small percentage of the traffic here is going to go there. And because they watch your video sales letter, they are interested, and then they book a call directly from there. Everything that you do, you can do Twitter, you can do Reddit, whatever you do, all should lead into 15 to 30 minute discovery call with the prospect, where you actually qualify the prospect first. Because if you're sending thousands of emails a day and getting hundreds of positive replies a month, of course, not all of the companies are going to be qualified. So then, is the prospect qualified? If the prospect isn't qualified, was it because of timing? Maybe they were just closing a huge funding round, or maybe their hands were filled with a huge project, but they know that they need lead generation in 3 months. If the prospect wasn't qualified because of timing, put it in our CRM or mark a follow-up for them. And if they were unqualified because of something else, mark as lost in CRM. Don't try to do anything, just mark it as lost. But if the prospect was qualified, you want to hop in a 30-minute demo call with the prospect. So basically this call is made for selling your solution. You go over the discovery phase again, like just summarize what we talked about. You pitch yourself, you close, you handle objections, you close again, you handle more objections, you close until they buy. We emphasize that the demo call is made for decision making. So we tell the prospect that in this demo call, you have to make a decision. There's no maybes, there's no proposals. It's a yes or no in this call. But if for some reason, like some really super rare reason, the prospect doesn't close in the demo call, set a deadline for the decision with the prospect in max 3 days. You don't want to stretch it further because then they will just forget and get busy with other stuff. And then did the prospect close after the deadline? If no, has the prospect received 5 follow-ups? If no, send case studies, content, and notes via email. Just follow up with them. And if still the prospect doesn't close, mark as lost in CRM. No point in pursuing that deal anymore. But if the prospect closes, first, confirm client's business information. Is this right? Is this right? Is the business ID right? Is this your business name? Is this your LLC name? If you actually have the wrong data on their business and you move with the sales process, it's going to cause you a lot of problems in the long run because maybe you have invoiced the wrong company. Maybe their tax ID is wrong, so they are struggling with tax deductions or something. So the first thing, again, like after they close, confirm client's business information. Then go over contract details and terms, because if the contract details and terms are not clear here, and you send the contract after the call and then something comes up on their side and they're like, oh shit, we didn't know about this, there's a risk that you get ghosted by the prospect and you never end up signing the deal. Ask for client's payment information. This little bit depends on how you want to collect payments. If you collect it directly in the call, collect the payment here. And if you use like manual invoices, like 14-day net invoices, ask for client's payment information. A little bit depends on which market you are in, because there's different cultures and different standards on how to invoice. Like for example, in Northern Europe, almost everything is manual invoicing, net 14 or net 7. After that, go over time frame and plan. So explain what is going to happen, what we are planning on doing for you exactly. So make it personalized, so they like understand what to look for. The expectations are getting set right. After they have like decided they want to work with you, get to know them on a personal level, ask personal questions. For example, just by the way, how long have you been doing this? Or what made you get into this business? Send over the contract, make sure that you get it signed, and then schedule the onboarding call. This is super important. You should do this immediately in the call, because if you close them and then you hop off the call and then you send them like a calendar link for scheduling the onboarding call after it, if they are like on the fence about it or they get something like in their mind, there's a risk again that they ghost you. So schedule the onboarding call immediately after you have closed them, because this way they are way more engaged and committed in the process. And set up a Slack channel. If the client for some reason they want to use Telegram or WhatsApp or something random, just go with that. But I recommend that you set up a Slack channel. So if there's any questions with the contract or anything, they get faster replies, you get faster follow-ups with them, and it's way easier to move with the process. After you have gone through this, you have the onboarding call. In the onboarding call, go over onboarding call framework and write down everything. Basically, what an onboarding call framework is, it has every single detail and information that you need to know. Who is your ideal client? What industry they are in? What is their revenue? What is their company size? What technology they use? What are their problems? What are their pain points? What keeps them up at night? Okay, what do you sell to them? How does your offer solve the problem? Is there case studies? What is your best case studies? Who is your best example client? Is there guarantees? What is the pricing model? Who usually makes the decision? How long is the sales cycle? Ask every single thing that you need to do and write everything down. You want to show professionalism. Like the first thing that you can do is go through like really vaguely some questions that you already have pre-made and then like not understand something. And then a week down the line, you start creating the campaigns and you realize that you don't know jack shit about their business or their prospect. This is the call where you need to have everything clear. So go really hard on the onboarding call. Explain the time frame and set expectations. This is a big mistake that I see from a lot of new lead gen guys, and a mistake that I have also made, which is not setting the expectations. Because if you don't set up expectations, they might be waiting for something way different. So explain to them like, yeah, this is what's going to happen the first 2 weeks. We're going to warm up the domains. We're going to create the campaigns. First 4 weeks, you shouldn't expect anything crazy because we're just A/B testing a bunch of stuff and seeing what targeting and what messaging works the best for your offer and for your market. And then when we have that figured out and we are starting to hit KPIs with our outreach, then we will scale it through the roof and you are getting 20, 30, 40 qualified sales calls each month and making 60 to 70,000 extra revenue. But first we need to figure out everything else, and that generally takes 4 to 8 weeks to do. So don't get worried if the calendar isn't jam-packed after the first 3 weeks of running the campaigns. The worst thing that you can do is confuse your prospect. Like they have just paid you a big sum of money. Let's say they pay you 7K starting fee and they have like taken a leap to trust you. If you haven't explained the time frame to them, they're just going to be confused and they don't even know if you're doing any real work. After that, give client instructions for next steps if needed. So if you need them to do like share their CRM access or create a Calendly account or whatever it might be, give instructions to them and also write these down and send it to them on Slack. And a really good bonus is if you already have like detailed SOPs and detailed processes on how you do it, because you want it to be as easy as possible for the client so they get the best experience. After that, we actually start creating the campaign. And so this is the blue section. And one thing that I have written down here is keep client updated with Loom and Slack communication in each step. So whatever you do, even if it's a small thing, even if it's a huge thing, send them a message, send them a Loom. We just scraped this list. This is what it looks like. This is what we did for it. It takes 5 minutes, but it makes the client relationship 1,000 times better. The client will stay with you for a longer time, so the LTV is higher, so you'll make more money, and they'll also are more likely to recommend you if they're super satisfied with you. Imagine 5 startup founders sitting at a dinner, and then one guy says like, I hate the agency we work with. They never tell us anything, and it's really hard to get a hold of them. And then your client tells like, oh, that's super funny. Our agency updates us on everything. And then they're like, I want to work with someone else. And then your client is like, okay, I can intro you, and boom, you got a hot lead. They want to buy from you. So you need to go the extra mile for a client. Of course, the first things when setting up a cold email campaign for a client is buy the domains, start the warm up, scrape first lead list, verify it, write different variations and follow-ups, and set up first A/B tests, go through campaign checklist. In our agency, we have like a checklist. Does this copy do this? Does the copy have this? Does the copy have this? Do you have this amount of follow-ups? Are they modeled like this? Do you have this amount of leads? We basically have a checklist for everything. So before we launch, you can see that we have done everything correctly, and then test run the campaigns before you launch. After that, what you do is you launch campaigns, and also at this time you want to schedule bi-weekly calls or weekly calls with your client. You can update them, they can give you feedback. It's way easier for you to see like how they're feeling, and if they're like telling you that the calls are a little bit unqualified, you can change that immediately. You will get better results and they will stay with you for a longer time. After you have launched campaigns, running for 2 weeks, our KPIs hit after 2 weeks of outreach. Is your open rate above 60%? Is your reply rate above 5%? Is your booking rate above 0.5%? And what are your KPIs you might have? If they are not hit, go through, like we use the troubleshooting process for missed KPIs. So we have like an exact list for everything. So let's say we are hitting under 5% reply rate. We have like a troubleshooting process. Okay, test these things, change the CTA to a softer one, add 3 follow-ups and whatever. So go through your own troubleshooting process, see what you could make different. Could you try out a different angle? Could you make a softer CTA? Could you do more follow-ups? Could you target a different audience? Could you target target a different title, just go through your troubleshooting process. And again, try it out for 2 weeks. Our KPIs hit. If you're still not getting the results you want, write new angles or change targeting based on your analysis. You need to scrap everything, go back to the drawing board and take completely new perspective. If am I missing something, maybe take another call with the client and try to dig in deeper on why someone would buy their service. But then if KPIs are hit after 2 weeks of outreach, continue to scale volume and define inbox management SOPs. So something that we do a lot is we have like a process for each client, because each client get like certain objections for their offer in outreach, and every market is a little bit different. So then we just see like, okay, what is coming up with this client a lot, and we are trying to basically define the process so we can get more calls for them, we can get more leads for them, we can get better leads for them. So then we just tweak it a little bit, optimize it a little bit, and scale the volume so we get more results. Keep reporting results weekly for clients. This is super important. Keep them updated on everything, like I said. Keep getting feedback on call quality and make changes. You want to be asking every week, okay, how did the last 5 calls work out? Or how did the last 10 calls work out? And if there's like, oh, actually all of these companies are a little bit on the smaller side, we would want to talk with the bigger companies. Boom, new lead list, new targeting, higher companies, better results. And then of course the last step is invoice based on results after each month. And this is the high level overview of the process that we use to run our lead generation agency. This has gone through a lot of iteration. Let me tell you, 11 months ago, 12 months ago, it looked completely different because we were just super lost. But right now, this is what we have been using. And of course, to keep in mind, every single one of these pieces has its own process. So I could make a similar chart for everything, like qualifying the prospect, discovery calls, LinkedIn long form, LinkedIn outbound campaigns, cold email campaigns. There's a big process for each one of these boxes. I could create a 10 times bigger chart on launching campaigns. That is exactly what I'm going to do on my YouTube channel. So everyone can scale their lead generation agencies. You can break the bottlenecks in your lead generation agency and just make a bunch of money and make your process a little bit better. One really, really big mention. If you need help or if you want help with scaling a lead generation agency from $0 to $10,000 a month in 92 days, go to agencyvelocity.io and go through the case study that we have there or the video we have there and book a call with us if you want some help, because this is exactly what we do for all of our coaching students. We basically build this process for them and make sure that they make a lot of money really quickly. And also, if you enjoyed this video on how we run our 30K month lead generation agency and what the process looks like, subscribe, comment on what you would want to see next. But thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you.